Hello, morning everyone. Happy Chinese New Year. It has been a short week last week, and for this week we are only having a very short presentation with a small wrap up and some updates on what will be upcoming for this week. First, the main message that we'd like to send across is that most people or investors are only concerned with what is happening in Singapore, Hong Kong, and China. In our view, that we feel that our investors should be more also concerned with also what's happening in the rest of the world. As you can see, Singapore in the STI index weighted revenue, Singapore only weigh about less than 1/4 of the whole revenue adjusted. So there's also a huge proportion from the rest of the ASEAN, Australia, US, and so forth. So we feel that it's important that our investors should also pay more attention to what is happening in the rest of the world, so as to be in a better position to evaluate the portfolio returns accordingly. For our top ideas for the week, we are still overweight on the banking sector. Our analyst Benjamin has actually issued some reports on the sector reports for the past 2 weeks. We feel that the net interest margin upticks ahead of the US. We feel that for our banking sector, the net interest margin will improve even ahead of the US Fed moving. The asset quality is intact, but questions about the commodities related clients still exist. So on the whole, we are still overweighing on the banking sector, and our top picks is DBS. There's two counters which we have changed our rating. The first one is last week. The first one is Raffles Medical. We feel that the patient volume will be boosted by the government initiative to relieve the congestion at the government wards. So we feel that the outlook for Raffles Medical will improve according with the initiation, and with that we actually upgrade our rating from hold to accumulate. Next, we have CIMAX, where we have downgraded the rating for CIMAX from neutral to reduce. At the moment, the company is reinvesting its sales networks from Western Australia to also eastern part of Australia and the rest, and also other parts of ASEAN, which will compress the earnings in 2015. But we continue to keep an eye on this stock, as we feel that there will come a time to reinvest in the stock. We would like to highlight for some of our research ideas. One is Noble. Noble, we do not have a rating for this stock, but last week there has been published by a report by Iceberg, which actually accuses of fraud and Noble. Well, we feel that Iceberg was in their own right to point that there is a disconnect between the market value and the lower cost or the fair market value accounting principle. We think that Iceberg has been way out of the line to accuse Noble of fraud when they are actually clearing following the IFRS principle, and we feel that the accusation is actually not valid in this case. Other research idea that we have is HighP with buy, Perennial, buy for HighP and Perennial, accumulate for OUE and UOB, reduce for FNN, accumulate for Raffles Medical, and reduce for CIMAX. For last week we also have an unwritten note on Fraser Centrepoint and on costs. For moving ahead for this week, for this week, there are a few upcoming issues. One is the outcome from the Greece, whether they will still Greece, whether they will still the Greece actually have the right to apply with other European countries to ask them for extend the negotiation till 28th of February, whether they will before they essentially run out of money and whether they will default. So for this, we feel that the local currency for that will actually come down. And next we have the discussion on next second big issue is actually there will be discussion on the Fed hits accordingly. We feel that there will be as there will be a lot of disagreement with there will be volatility in the market in the US market for this week as different Fed heads speaks, and with different opinion accordingly we feel that the market for US should be quite volatile this week. And also this week is the last week of the earnings, so it will be where we will be densely packed with the company's reports accordingly. And there will also be the Singapore budget released on this Monday and the Indian budget released on this Saturday accordingly. So we will update accordingly when there's further updates. So that's the end of our presentation for this week. We are open to questions. Thank you. Our target price for high P is 88 cents.
Hi, there's a question on NOL and any opinion on NOL. We don't have coverage on NOL, so there's no opinion on NOL.
Hi, the question on Kim Hing, Benjamin here speaking. Kim is reporting the results this Friday, so we'll get more clarity on the quarterly results. So Q&Q wise, we expect top line growth to be better than the last quarter, as there are more contracts that were supposed to be rolled in the fourth quarter, right? But for 2015 wise, our opinion is that the outlook might remain quite weak, considering the bearish sentiments on the oil and gas sector, as well as one of their key clients is Transocean from US, which is facing quite a bit of issues, such as warm stacking and cold stacking of their rigs, as well as lower day rates, which translates to lower drilling activity. So this will most likely indirectly impact Kim Hing's sort of order book for 2015. Alright, so we'll give you an update after this Friday on Kim Hing. Thanks.
Hi, there's a question on what's the prospect for ST Engineering. We don't have coverage on ST Engineering now.
Okay, there's a question about Noble, which is asking, what did you mean by Noble is fine? We don't say that Noble is fine. What we do say is that we disagree with Iceberg's research report that accuses Noble of fraud. We state that Iceberg has basically confused lower cost of market, which is a U.S. GAAP, with IFRS. Noble follows IFRS, and you do lower cost of fair market value. So we say that the accounting appears appropriate for that treatment, what Noble is doing. There's another question that has to do with palm oil, and it's saying, is there any outlook update on the palm oil sector? Is the CPO facing positive or negative headwinds? Okay, we do not have official coverage of any specific stocks, but we can talk about the sector. The palm oil prices are directly related to soybean prices. The U.S. had a record harvest, one of the best harvests in over a decade. As the last of that harvest gets collected, you should see some upward pressure as far as soybean prices, but that's somewhat dependent upon the Brazilian and Argentinian soybean crop, which should come up in about April-May time frame. Excuse me, it should come up around March time frame. So the weather in Brazil and Argentina has been less than ideal, so some upward bias as far as soybean, which means some upward bias for palm oil. This applies to the plantation stocks and not the crushers like Wilmar or Maywa or those types.
Hello, there is a question that asks when will CapitaLand be considered as an index stock? Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think CapitaLand is already part of the STI index stock. Thanks.
Someone asked about whether the chances for Greek exit from the Eurozone is highly reduced. Since last week, Friday, the meeting, Greek, as in the new Prime Minister, Axis, actually mentioned that they would prefer to stay in Eurozone. And they are coming up with a list of reforms to discuss with the Troika so that they can probably negotiate for some terms for the bailout program.
Hi, there is a question on saying accumulate call on for OUE and what are the reasons for that. Firstly, we feel that for OUE, Although right now they are undergoing the AEI, and the AEIs are the AEIs. There's a few AEIs, and the AEIs will be completed within the next 2 months. 2 years, sorry, 2 years or so. So we feel that there is improved earnings visibility growth in the counter, and we feel that currently the counter has been trading pretty below valuation, and so we feel that there is this is quite undervalued, and we feel that for this stock there is still potential upside for that, and that's why we gave a cumulative call for OUE. Thanks. Hello, there's a question that's asking what is AEI. Is actually Asset Enhancement Initiative, which means that they actually maybe I shall put it maybe like make some changes to the building or assets itself, so that it can increase the traffic flow or the rentals for the assets accordingly, which will bring in more revenue for the company. Thanks.
Hi, this is Richard speaking. There's a question about the REIT sector. The question is, for them to see increasing dividends, the rents have to be increased. It can't keep increasing, correct? So are the REITs now fully valued? Are there risks to the downside? First of all, the primary investment objective for REITs is a stable dividend, not really increasing dividend. Yes, when the rents increase, um, dividends can increase if costs remain in check, and cost does not grow faster than the increase in rents. So that's one way how dividend can increase. The other way is by increasing the portfolio for the REIT, so the REIT can acquire more properties, and then when they collect more rent from the enlarged portfolio, there will be more distributable income. But having said that, when the REIT acquires new properties, they usually have to have a rights issue to get more equity as well. So at this time, if you think that the REIT is good, and the property that they're acquiring is good as well, then you should subscribe to the rights issue as well.
Hi, sorry. Did anyone hear the commentary on United Engineers just now? Yeah, I'm just checking. Thanks. Hi, okay, this is Yongkai here. So there was a question about what is happening to United Engineers going forwards. So about 2 weeks ago, the ThaiBev founder said that he's not going to go ahead to purchase the UE stake from OCBC and Great Eastern. Okay, so what's the implication? If you look at UE in the past 1 year, they've slimmed down drastically. They've sold their automotive, MFS technology, and the UE ENC stakes. So right now, it should be viewed more as a property developer pure play. And your views on it would really depend very much on the property market going forwards. Thank you.
Hi, Benjamin here. I have a question on the banks. So it's a question on if the US holds the interest rates near to zero for a while longer, is our call on the DBS valid? For us, yes, we still have a buy call on DBS. First of all, for our thesis is actually the repricing gains from the uptick in the SIBOR, which we have seen since the start of January 2015. Right, so the SIBOR is still on an uptrend, likely to be so because economic data in US is looking good. So gradually we are seeing the SGD weakening against the USD. So as a result of that, the Sing dollar domestic interest rates will be increasing as well. Right, so this will have a direct benefit on DBS, right, as most of their loans are priced, about 80% is priced on the SIBOR as well as SOR. So longer term wise, our call from an economist is more later in the 2015 we will see an increase in the Fed fund rates in the US. Thank you.
Hi, that's all we have for today's Monday seminar. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you again next week. Thank you. Happy New Year.